Taxes destroying innovation and growth. Let's have a look. Happy Boxing Day, everyone. Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Once again, I pre-recorded this because I am down the Gold Coast, probably still napping on Boxing Day, or, Lord help us, shopping on Boxing Day. Don't worry, I've got my stein of coffee, and I thought we would look at this article. This is from the ABC, sent to me by a viewer. Boutique distilleries, breweries, and winemakers are pleading for tax relief. This is showing how, well, the tax burden placed on some of our industries, I would argue, is having an effect on growth, is having an effect on innovation, is having an effect on the competitiveness of this entire sector, and, relating to the video we looked at yesterday, is causing more substance abuse with regards to more harder and I'd say dangerous substances compared to alcohol. Let me know what your take on that is in the comments below, but I was talking to a senior police person and asking her, was meth a problem out in the country? And she's going, yeah, definitely a huge problem. And I go, I bet you it's because it's more expensive than booze. Oh no, sorry, booze is more expensive than meth. Just a theory. So, let's have a look at this, guys. Boutique alcohol producers are calling for tax relief in 2020, saying punishingly high levies are stifling growth in the industry and leading to perverse social outcomes. With millions of people set to enjoy Australian-made wine, beer and spirits over the Christmas and New Year period, producers say consumers are having to pay unnecessarily high prices because of exorbitant tax rates. Well, that's what the government loves. They love being this puritanical, oh, alcohol is bad, we need to tax it, tax it, tax it. And don't get me wrong, my days of foolishly drinking like a uni student are long past, but I like a nice little, rum and coke, or rum and ginger beer, or rum and lime over the holiday period. Who wouldn't? Actually, let me know what's if you found a new bottle of wine or a new nice beer over the Christmas period. Let us know in the comments what gem you've discovered, because often it'll be a gift from someone or just a random beer that you've gotten that is a new favorite. The call comes amid a rapid increase in the number of operators in Australia, where there are now more than 300 distillers and hundreds of small breweries accompanying the country's winemakers. According to producers, taxes on alcohol in Australia are among the highest in the world, with much of the burden skewed towards higher value products. Under current arrangements, wine is taxed based on the value of the product sold rather than its volume, meaning more expensive wine attracts a higher tax bill. Of course it does. Of course it does. For distillers of spirits such as gin or whiskey, an excise of about $85 is applied to every litre of pure alcohol produced, equating to more than $1 per shot. Just think about that, guys. How does that work? Maybe I'm thinking 50-cent shots, $1 shots. Remember Thursday nights at the bars? Or am I showing my age? Could any of the young people tell me that you still have dollar drinks nights? Maybe it was only half a shot. Beer is similarly taxed via an excise, although packaged beers are subject to a rate about 40% higher than drought beers. Draw beers. Bloody hell, I can't talk. I'm probably celebrating Boxing Day. Both spirits and beers are subject to CPI-linked price increases that reset every 6 months, meaning actual prices rise faster than inflation. Oh, well, there you go. That explains why I went to buy, some rum and a beer, and I ended up spending like $60 just for a little bit. It just keeps getting more expensive, doesn't it? These little luxuries. Cameron Seam, who founded the Great Southern Distilling Company in Western Australia, said the system was a major impediment to growth. He said Australia's alcohol tax rates were uncompetitive internationally. There you go, guys. There you go. In dollar terms for us, we pay this year about $1.4 million in excise to the Commonwealth government. If we were in New Zealand, we'd be paying about $500,000. If we were in America, we'd be paying about $35,000. $35,000. So let's jump over to one of my favorite websites, guys. And we'll jump here. And let's just have a look at what have we got. What's Australia exporting? Can we look at foodstuffs, vegetable products, textiles, stone, precious metals? Is alcohol even going to, chemical products, is it even going to rate on there? I don't think it'll even appear. You can see though what we're producing, guys. This is an industry that I think is important as well. And the only thing that's making them so uncompetitive, or one of the huge things, is this tax. Look at the difference. And don't tell me you don't think, that tax money is going to be wisely used. How much of it from the Commonwealth did they shift to needless departments? Maybe in WA, I know it wasn't the state, but remember, Western Australia had a potato board to regulate the growth of bloody potatoes. It's just insane. It's insane. This is more government intervention in business. It's destroying our competitive advantage. For what? For what? So when people are complaining, all these big companies are getting away from taxes, a lot of them don't. So from that point of view, it's a disincentive to investing in the business. Exactly. Anyway, why would you invest in this business where you've got all these other taxes? Just flip houses, guys. Flip houses. Why take the risk of being in a business? Why have to lobby with government for tax advantages for your evil anti-Puritan drinking when you just flip houses? So, if we weren't paying that money to the Commonwealth government, we would actually be reinvesting it into the business. We would be employing more staff. We would have another 4 or 5 working within the company. Yes, but that $1 million, that 1.4 million, that could almost pay for like 2 wasted government initiatives or stupid things. They need that money. So yeah. And no tax changes are planned. Of course they're not. Of course they're not. In a bid to overcome what it says is a model that discourages quality production, industry body Wines of Western Australia is pushing for a shake-up of the tax system. Earlier this year, Wines of WA revealed it wanted a volume-based tax for wine and would lobby industry participants across the country to canvass support. I mean, that's it. That's all they're asking, guys. They're not asking to repeal the tax. They're not asking to remove it. They just want it volume-based. I mean, that's such a pathetic ask. Because remember, this is a business. They're still paying taxes and all the other things. Ian Duke Ranson, who owns and runs Duke's Vineyard and Polongrup Range. Okay, at the Polongrup Range. I know I buggered that. Almost 4,000 kilometers south of Perth. 4,000. I need a coffee, guys. I'm going to start again. Okay. Ian Duke Ranson, who owns and runs Duke's Vineyard at the Polongrup Range, almost 400 kilometers south of Perth, said small volume, high value producers were disadvantaged by current arrangements. So, are we seeing maybe the big boys in the industry want to crush any potential competition? If you buy a bottle of wine, you'll probably pay $6 tax, Mr. Ranson said. If you buy the equivalent amount of wine from a supermarket as a cheap wine, you probably pay $1 tax. It just seems unfair that our clients should be forced to pay $6 when the clients of the supermarket pay $1. Federal Treasurer Josh Frydenberg said there were no plans to change Australia's alcohol tax because, well, as we're seeing here, it's advantaging the big side of business. Isn't this what crony capitalism is, guys? Government intervention, unnecessary intervention into an industry, creating this competitive advantage to the larger producers as opposed to the smaller ones. This is why when people say, oh, we've got a free market. No, we don't, boys. No, we don't. However, he said the government was supporting smaller producers by fast-tracking the lowering of company tax. Oh, bullshit. That's for everyone. That's not just them. Who cares? The Treasurer also signalled out the distilling industry, saying the government had extended an excise refund scheme to 2017 to provide tax relief. Oh, bloody hell. This is just moving it back and forth. Insane. Under the scheme, eligible manufacturers of alcoholic beverages claim a refund of 60% of the excise duty paid on the products, Frydenberg said. From the 1st of July 2019, the cap for the scheme was increased from $30,000 to $100,000. Oh, wow. So the producer that's paying $1.4 million, I'm sure he'll be happy with that extra 30 grand. Oh, now 100. The government is also providing income tax relief to small and medium businesses. The government's changes to the instant asset write-off will also allow small and medium businesses to immediately deduct assets below $30,000. Well, yes, I think that's a fantastic idea. I love that idea. The threshold applies on a per asset basis, so eligible businesses can instantly write off multiple assets. But that's not the point. We've got a whole... the fundamental issue here is he's just ignoring it. Our treasurer is just ignoring it. The issue is we've got larger businesses having a huge competitive advantage over the smaller businesses, and our competitive level on an international scale is being hampered by these taxes. That's what it is. That's what it is. And what does that do? That destroys entire sectors of our economy. And we just, we're digging holes and flipping houses. That's it. So the domestic price is too high. Mr. Sim acknowledged the extension of the excise rebate scheme has helped lower costs, but said taxes were still too high. He said the industry, at a minimum, wanted the government to reduce the frequency at which the excise on spirits resets from 6 months to annually, while it was also pushing for a cut to the rate. We're an Australian company. We want to be based here, he said. There you go. There you go, guys. And you wonder why, part of the, this is another reason why people are offshoring, because it's such a pain in the ass to deal with all the stuff here. We're happy to pay our contribution to tax because society needs that. Oh, well, okay. That's, of course he has to say that. He's not a libertarian then. He should be going, taxation is theft. The government is forcing us to pay this money under threat of jail. They wouldn't publish that anyway, would they? The issue with us is simply the amount of tax we're being expected to pay. We want to have a standard whiskey we would have a standard whiskey in America for about $80 a bottle instead of $100, $140 a bottle in Australia. And that includes all the transportation costs to get to the US. It's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? Think about that, guys. Look at that difference. How much cheaper it is in the US. The same product. Just thinking about all the carbon footprint, the fuel miles, if you like, on that, on getting it over there, getting it into a different distribution system. Yeah, I mean, okay, come on, guys. Chucking a few bottles in shipping containers and shipping it over to the other side of the world ain't that much carbon, okay? The little bottle is a very small bit of a ship. Just think, yeah. I think it's crazy that we can send something to the other side of the world and sell it for less than we can here. Well, is it cheaper to get it from... I would honestly... Here's an argument I will put to you. I bet you it would be cheaper to get stuff from Western Australia to America than it would to Sydney. I reckon it would be. Putting it in a ship and shipping it over. I've got no no evidence to base that on, but let me know what you think. Mr. Ranson said if the government's aim in taxing alcohol was to help pay for any health and other associated costs with consumption, it made no sense to tax higher volume products more heavily. Well, no, it's not about that. It's a competitive advantage to the larger producers. He said it appeared the government was more interested in collecting revenue than recovering costs to society. Yes, it was. That's it. Wow, first step in getting woke there, guys. He's heading down the pill path, isn't he? I think we probably started with the rum rebellion, Mr. Ranson said. We've also always been paying taxes, and I think the minute you mention alcohol to a government in Australia, they rub their hands together with glee. It seems silly that if you have a drinking problem and you're going to drink a whole cask of cheap wine, you pay $1, and you're drinking a quarter of that wine, you pay $6. The problem seems an oxymoron to me. Well, there you have it, guys. There you have it. What do you think? What do you think? I'm more concerned that the same product can be sent to the other side of the world. Here, one producer said his company paid out $1.4 million in excise, but if it was in New Zealand, it'd be $500,000 and US $35,000. That's it right there. That just shows you how we've lost competitive advantage. Because our government is just taxing us to the hilt. Anyway, guys, let me know your opinion. Let me know what you think about this. And I hope you're having a good Boxing Day. And I will see you all next time. Take care.